For decades, human beings have looked up at the silver screen and found themselves completely transfixed by the magic of storytelling. Cinema is not merely an industry or a passing form of entertainment. It is a shared cultural tapestry that binds generations together through images, sounds, and unforgettable faces. From the black and white silent eras to the grand spectacles of modern filmmaking, the stories told in theaters have shaped how we think, how we feel, and how we connect with one another. There is a deep, almost instinctual human desire to map out these connections, to find the hidden threads that link one legendary performance to another, across different eras, genres, and directors. This fascinating web of relationships forms a massive, invisible matrix where every actor who has ever stepped in front of a camera is somehow linked to everyone else. It is an intricate web where paths cross in unexpected ways, where an indie darling from a modern film festival might share an intellectual ancestry with a golden age Hollywood icon. This phenomenon has captured the imaginations of film enthusiasts around the globe for generations, turning casual movie watching into a grand, lifelong pursuit of discovery. Before we dive deeper into how this spectacular web operates and how it changes the way we experience cinema, take a quick moment to ensure you do not miss any of our daily cinematic journeys by subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you can join our growing community of passionate film lovers. The concept of human interconnectedness is nothing new, but when applied to the world of Hollywood, it takes on an entirely mystical quality. We often speak of the 6 degrees of separation, the theoretical idea that any two people on Earth are connected by a chain of 6 acquaintances or fewer. In the realm of the silver screen, this theory transforms into an exhilarating intellectual game, a mental labyrinth where movie buffs navigate through decades of filmography to bridge the gap between seemingly unrelated performers. Think of the monumental shifts in cinema history, where the classic style of the mid-20th century slowly gave way to the gritty realism of the 70s, followed by the high-concept blockbusters of the 80s and the independent renaissance of the 90s. Each of these eras left behind a distinct footprint, defined by specific actors who became the faces of their respective generations. Yet beneath the surface of these distinct epochs lies a continuous, unbroken chain of collaboration. An older actor who shared a scene with a legend of the 1940s might have gone on to mentor a young newcomer in the late 80s, who then grew up to star alongside the blockbusting icons of the 21st century. This unbroken lineage means that cinema is a living, breathing entity, a massive collective memory where the past is constantly talking to the present through performance. To truly appreciate the depth of this cinematic universe, one must understand how our brains process nostalgia and the joy of recollection. When we watch a classic film, we are not just consuming a plot, we are remembering where we were when we first saw it, who we were with, and how the world felt at that specific moment in time. Nostalgia acts as a powerful emotional anchor, pulling us back to periods that feel comforting, vibrant, and filled with creative energy. This psychological phenomenon explains why film trivia and cinematic puzzles have such an enduring hold on our collective consciousness. They are not merely exercises in memorization. They are emotional journeys through our own personal histories and the shared history of global popular culture. The human mind naturally craves patterns, order, and resolutions, and there is an immense sense of satisfaction that comes from unlocking a hidden connection between two seemingly disparate pieces of art. When you can successfully trace the trajectory of an actor's career through various projects, you are essentially solving a complex cultural puzzle that spans decades of human creativity. It requires an intimate familiarity with directors, screenwriters, supporting casts, and even the minor, overlooked gems of cinema that failed at the box office but achieved a cult following years later. As we look closer at the landscape of modern media, it becomes clear that our relationship with film history is undergoing a massive transformation. In an age dominated by short-form content, rapid-fire information, and an endless stream of digital distractions, the art of deep cinematic appreciation can sometimes feel like it is fading into the background. However, true cinephiles know that the magic of the movies cannot be diminished so easily. There is a quiet, dedicated movement of enthusiasts who reject the superficial consumption of entertainment and instead choose to dive deep into the rich archives of filmmaking history. These individuals view every movie not as an isolated product, but as a single chapter in an epic, ongoing narrative that has been written over more than a century. They are the ones who remember the character actors who stole scenes in low-budget thrillers, the visionary cinematographers whose lighting choices defined a genre, and the unique pairings of performers that only happened once in a lifetime. This deep respect for the craft creates a special kind of community, a global network of minds that find immense joy in discussing, debating, and analyzing the intricate mechanics of filmography. This fascinating intersection of memory, art, and intellectual challenge sets the perfect stage for something truly remarkable. It introduces a concept that challenges the casual moviegoer and rewards the dedicated film historian alike, creating a bridge between pure entertainment and cognitive exercise. Imagine a daily ritual designed specifically to stimulate these nostalgic centers of the brain, an intellectual arena where your knowledge of Hollywood history is put to the ultimate test. It is a concept built upon the foundation of cinematic chains, where the goal is not just to know who starred in what, but to understand how those stars relate to one another in the grand scheme of media history. This framework forces us to look past the marquee names and the obvious hits, encouraging us to look into the deeper layers of film history where the most surprising connections are often found. As we prepare to explore the precise mechanics of this mental challenge and uncover the specific rules that govern this daily journey through Hollywood nostalgia, we must prepare our minds for a deep dive into the legendary decades of cinema. The stage is set, the curtains are drawn, and the silver screen is about to reveal a complex web of stories that will challenge everything you thought you knew about your favorite movies and the actors who brought them to life. Welcome to the ultimate proving ground for cinephiles, a place where casual admiration for the silver screen transforms into an intense, strategic mind game. This is the real deal, a unique daily nostalgic movie chain puzzle designed to push your cinematic vocabulary and recollection to their absolute limits. Every single day, a brand new matrix of connections is generated, presenting film enthusiasts with a curated gauntlet of intellectual challenges. The core architecture of this puzzle relies on the foundational concept of a cinematic chain, a structural path that links two seemingly distant actors through the shared filmographies that bridge them together. It sounds simple on the surface, but as any seasoned film historian knows, the pathways of Hollywood are rarely straightforward. The game presents a series of challenges divided into clear, standardized tiers of difficulty, ensuring that everyone from the weekend viewer to the most hardcore scholar can find a fitting arena. We begin each day with the easy puzzle, a welcoming entry point designed to warm up your analytical faculties and spark those initial waves of creative memory. From there, the difficulty ramps up significantly as you transition into the medium puzzle, where the connections become slightly more obscure, demanding a deeper familiarity with supporting casts and lesser-known projects. Finally, for those who possess an almost encyclopedic command of Hollywood lore, the hard puzzle awaits, offering a highly complex, multi-layered labyrinth that will test your patience, focus, and dedication to the craft. To elevate the experience even further and truly honor the rich history of filmmaking, the experience features an exclusive daily bonus puzzle completely dedicated to nostalgia. This special category shifts its focus away from contemporary media and shines a bright, targeted spotlight on a specific decade from the past. One day you might find yourself navigating the golden age of the 1950s, tracing the works of method actors and massive studio epics. The next day, you could be thrown headfirst into the neon-soaked, high-concept landscape of the 1980s, or the gritty, innovative, independent film movement that defined the 1990s. This rotating focus allows players to immerse themselves entirely in the distinct aesthetic, stylistic choices, and acting styles of a bygone era, turning each bonus round into a vivid history lesson and a deeply sentimental journey. However, understanding the basic structure of these daily tiers is only the first step. To survive and conquer this intellectual arena, one must fully grasp the exact mechanics of how to play. Each puzzle provides you with a starting actor and a destination actor, along with a carefully selected pool of movies and performers that sit between them. Your ultimate objective is to construct an unbroken, logical bridge from the beginning to the end. Selecting the precise titles where these actors shared credit and crossed artistic paths, but do not be fooled into thinking this is a simple walk down memory lane. Because the creators of this mental labyrinth have added a thrilling element of danger to the mix. As you attempt to navigate your way through the options, you must watch out for decoys. Decoys are carefully placed traps designed specifically to exploit your cognitive biases and false memories. These decoys take the form of highly plausible movies or famous actors who look like they absolutely belong in the solution, but are ultimately dead ends that do not fit into the correct, singular pathway. They are the ultimate test of your precision and confidence. It is incredibly easy to fall victim to the Mandela effect in film history, remembering a classic blockbuster and mistakenly believing that two specific icons shared the screen, when in reality, they worked with the same director on completely different projects years apart. The presence of these deceptive elements turns the puzzle from a simple trivia exercise into a high-stakes psychological battle. As the difficulty levels escalate from easy to medium, and finally to hard, the number of decoys multiplies drastically, turning the selection pool into a minefield of historical illusions. You are forced to question your first instincts, verify your internal timelines, and analyze every single casting credit with absolute scrutiny before committing to a path. There is another fascinating rule that adds an extra layer of tension and strategic depth to this daily ritual. In the expansive world of Hollywood, filmographies are so vast and overlapping that there might very well be a shorter, alternative, or entirely different way to connect the two primary actors. You might discover a brilliant shortcut through an obscure independent short film, or a shared television special that completely bypasses the intended middle steps. While the creators recognize the vastness of cinema and would love to hear about these alternative routes in the comments section, you must understand that there is only one mathematically and systematically correct solution using the specific pool of movies and actors listed for that day. This constraint requires you to adapt your thinking to the specific parameters of the puzzle at hand, looking at the available pieces and deducing the exact structural logic intended by the puzzle designers. It eliminates pure guesswork and forces a methodical, deductive approach to problem solving. This creates a beautifully level playing field for the community, ensuring that everyone is engaging with the exact same variables while still leaving room for passionate post-game discussions about the infinite alternative pathways that exist within the wider cinematic universe. The atmosphere surrounding this daily exercise is one of quiet intensity. A mental gymnasium where the reward is not a physical prize, but the sheer, incomparable rush of cognitive breakthrough. Imagine sitting down with your morning coffee, looking at the digital screen, and seeing two names that feel worlds apart. Your brain immediately starts firing, scanning through decades of visual memories, recalling specific movie posters, end credits, and theatrical trailers. You make your first connection, successfully bridging the starting actor to a classic 1970s crime thriller. The tension builds as you look at the remaining pool, searching for the next link. You spot a movie title that seems perfect, but a voice in the back of your mind warns you that it might be a decoy, a clever trap set to destroy your perfect streak. You pause, analyze the release year, remember the supporting cast, and realize just in time that the actor you need was replaced during pre-production. You pivot to a different title, the pieces slide perfectly into place, and suddenly the final connection reveals itself, linking the chain to the destination actor. This sequence of realization, doubt, and ultimate triumph creates a powerful feedback loop that keeps enthusiasts returning day after day, eager to test their minds against the ever-evolving matrix of film history. As the global community of players grows, this daily challenge has transformed from a solitary puzzle into a vibrant, interactive shared experience. The comment section beneath the archive has become a modern town square for cinephiles, a place where people from all walks of life gather to share their scores, celebrate their victories, and lament the clever decoys that caught them off guard. It is a space filled with camaraderie and intellectual mutual respect, where a master of classic Hollywood might assist someone struggling with modern blockbusters and vice versa. This collective interaction forms the true heart of the experience, as players openly share how they did, dissecting the subtle nuances of the daily chains and offering constructive feedback to improve the system. The journey does not end when you complete the daily selection. It merely opens the door to a deeper exploration of the past, encouraging you to dive into the extensive archives to tackle past puzzles and measure your progress over time. The stage is now fully set, the rules are defined, and the tension is palpable as we prepare to transition into the deep historical context of the heroes who inhabit these chains and explore why this celebration of cinema matters now more than ever. To fully comprehend why this intricate game matters, one must look beyond the mechanics of the puzzle and look directly into the remarkable journeys of the individuals who populate these daily cinematic grids. The heroes of these chains are the actors, directors, and artists whose life works form the very fabric of our modern cultural mythology. Consider the incredible trajectory of an actor's life, starting as an idealistic young dreamer waiting tables in Los Angeles or New York, hoping for a single line of dialogue in a television commercial. Through sheer determination, a stroke of luck, or undeniable talent, they eventually land a minor role in an independent production, an experience that introduces them to an established director or a veteran character actor. This initial collaboration sets off a chain reaction that will ripple across decades of media history, as that young performer goes on to share scenes with icons of different generations, eventually becoming an elder statesman of the industry themselves, guiding the next generation of creative minds. When we trace a puzzle chain from a silent-era pioneer to a modern digital streaming icon, we are not just matching names, we are witnessing the passing of the artistic torch, tracking the evolution of performance styles, and honoring the lifetimes of dedication that these creators poured into their crafts. The profound cultural relevance of mapping these artistic journeys becomes even more apparent when we examine the broader context of media preservation and literacy. We live in an era where thousands of classic films are instantly accessible at our fingertips, yet the sheer volume of choices can often lead to a superficial engagement with art. By engaging with these structured connections, we actively fight against cultural amnesia, ensuring that the legendary works of the past are not forgotten or buried beneath the relentless avalanche of new releases. It forces us to remember that the blockbuster hit of today stands firmly on the shoulders of the creative risks taken by independent filmmakers half a century ago. This recognition transforms our understanding of film from a series of isolated consumer products into a continuous, centuries-long conversation about the human condition. Every time a player remembers an obscure 1970s neo-noir film or a forgotten 80s fantasy adventure to complete a daily chain, they are breathing fresh life into that piece of art, keeping its legacy alive in the collective consciousness. It is a powerful form of cultural preservation disguised as an engaging mental sport, reminding us that every performance, no matter how brief or unappreciated at the time, leaves a permanent mark on the timeline of human expression. Furthermore, this daily exploration highlights the fascinating nature of human collaboration and the unpredictable paths that define a career in creative industries. Hollywood history is filled with legendary pairings that almost never happened, iconic roles that were recast at the last second, and chance encounters on studio backlots that resulted in some of the greatest cinematic masterpieces ever made. These puzzles capture that chaotic brilliance by forcing players to look past the obvious blockbusters and examine the unexpected crossovers that occurred in lower-budget projects, ensemble dramas, or early career stepping stones. We begin to see how the careers of our cinematic heroes are interconnected in ways that mimic the unpredictable nature of life itself. A legendary dramatic actress might have started her journey in a low-budget horror sequel alongside a future action superstar, a shared credit that creates a crucial bridge in our daily puzzle matrix decades later. Understanding these relationships gives us a much deeper appreciation for the collaborative nature of filmmaking, showing us that no actor exists in a vacuum and that every great performance is shaped, challenged, and elevated by the fellow performers who share the frame. This brings us back to the vibrant community that has formed around this daily nostalgic ritual, a testament to the enduring power of shared appreciation. The true heart of this endeavor lies in the daily interaction, the competitive yet supportive exchange of ideas, and the collective passion that fuels the comment sections and archives. When you share how you did, post your specific completion times, or discuss the alternative paths you discovered while navigating the available pool, you are contributing to a living archive of film history. You are joining a global fraternity of minds that refuse to let the magic of classic cinema fade into obscurity. This community acts as a massive intellectual sandbox where memories are traded like currency and where every successful connection is celebrated as a shared victory over the deceptive traps laid by the decoys. The feedback provided by players helps refine this digital labyrinth, ensuring that the puzzles remain challenging, accurate, and deeply respectful of the historical facts. It is an ongoing partnership between the creators and the community. A shared mission to celebrate the rich tapestry of the silver screen and preserve the stories that have defined our lives for over a century, as we look toward the future of media consumption. The value of keeping these historical connections alive becomes more critical than ever. In a world that constantly encourages us to look forward to the next big release, the next trailer, or the next trending topic, there is something deeply rebellious and beautiful about pausing each day to look backward. It is an opportunity to ground ourselves in the rich heritage of storytelling, to revisit the performances that made us cry, laugh, or think deeply about the world, and to honor the incredible artists who made those moments possible. The daily nostalgic movie chain puzzle is not just a game. It is an enduring bridge to our own past, a daily reminder of the movies that shaped our childhoods, our teenage years, and our adult perspectives. By mastering these chains, you are keeping the flame of classic cinema burning brightly, ensuring that the incredible journeys of our Hollywood heroes continue to inspire, challenge, and entertain generations to come. The puzzle resets every single day, offering a fresh slate, a new challenge, and another opportunity to prove your mastery of the silver screen. Your place in this grand cinematic journey is already waiting for you in the archives, and the next legendary connection is yours to discover, decode, and celebrate alongside thousands of fellow movie lovers around the world. Every single puzzle solved is a tribute to the power of film, a celebration of human ingenuity, and a quiet declaration that the great stories of our past will always matter. So, take a moment to look over today's available pool, clear your mind of distractions, and prepare to forge the ultimate bridge through Hollywood history as you uncover the secret links that tie your favorite generations of stars together.